Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamanitanjena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah. Yam Pravajantam Anupeta Apeta Krityam Dvapayano Vedahaka Tada Ajuhava Putriti Tanmaitaya Tadavo Binedus Tam Savabhutam Hridayam. You need your own window. Hridayam Manatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Bhaktya Vihina Parada Lakshaya Kiptascha Kamari Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Tave Vasmi Najivami Tvayavina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha. That's all right. Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So we're going to continue, and we're going to first offer our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus, unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanitya Bhavishta Om Vishnu Pad Asto Tarsat Sri Simad Abhayachanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, and unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanitya Bhavishta Om Vishnu Pad Asto Tarsat Sri Simad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and unto our exalted Upanuga Guru Varga, all these Sambhu Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, yesterday we started reading Srimad Bhagavatam, describing the practice of the gopis, the unmarried gopis, the Kanyakumaris, who wanted to have Krishna as their husband. And so they began what we understand to be a month-long vrat to please the goddess Katyayani. Please, goddess, make Krishna our husband, right? Now, these are the unmarried gopis, so it's an appropriate prayer for them to make. It doesn't conflict with the conception of Parakya. Later on it's described, it's a kind of sanchari mood, right? It's a temporary mood. But even then, even within that, there's a dialogue given by Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur where they're saying, well, even let us be married, fine, but still we want Krishna as our one and only beloved. And then the question came up, well, they're praying to goddess Katyayani, and the prayer was, Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogini Adishwari Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. So I already discussed briefly the idea of Pati, the husband. But what about this Mahamaye, Mahamaya? Why would the gopis pray to Mahamaya? And Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur described that actually in Braj there is no Mahamaya. Maya has two features. Right? The Yogamaya, the internal energy, who directs and controls pastimes in the Goloka Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, the spiritual realm. And there's Mahamaya, who her special expansion for overseeing the affairs of this material world. Right? And she has this throwing potency by which the living entities are cast here, right? And then covered. But why are they praying to her? Because they have the idea that they're ordinary village girls. These are Naravat Leela. And it makes it so much sweeter. So traditionally, in Vedic culture, young girls who are praying for anything, husband or family things, they're praying to Mahamaya. But actually, they have no connection with Mahamaya. They have the connection with the transcendental Durga. Durga is used in two ways, to mean Mahamaya, but also to mean Yogamaya. And that we had quotations from the Pancharatra and other sources which describe that. So now we're on text 5. Evam ma samvritam cheru kumar ya Krishna chaitasa bhadrakalim samandar chur bhuyananda sutapati. Thus, for an entire month, the girls carried out their vow and properly worshipped the goddess Bhadrakali, fully absorbing their minds in Krishna and meditating upon the following thought: may the son of King Nanda become my husband. So another name. They worship, Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur says, they worship Bhadrakali with the vow, may the son of Nanda be my husband. Bhadrakali is another name of Mahamaya. She has many names in this world. Right? Ushasya Uttaya Gotrai Svair, Ayonya Badabhavaha, Krishnam Uchaya Jagur Yantaya, Kalindyam Snatum Anvaham. Each day they rose at dawn. Calling out to one another by name, they all held hands and loudly sang the glories of Krishna while going to the Kalindi to take their bath. Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur says this verse continues the second verse's description of the gopis going to the Jamuna for bathing. They called each other by name, Swagotrai. Oh, Dhanya, where are you? Why are you late? Dhanya is more or less the organizer and leader of this young group. She's a Nitya Siddha Gopi, but she's unmarried, a little younger. And as we mentioned earlier, and as will be described, many of these are sadhan siddhas who are coming to Braj for the first time. And more detail will be given about that later. Nadya kadachid agatya tere nikshipya purvavat vasanksi krishna magayantya vijaru salile muda. One day they came to the riverbank and, putting aside their clothing as they had done before, happily played in the water while singing the glories of Krishna. And Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur says, Kadachit means once. Kadachit here means on the full moon day, when the gopis had completed their 1-month vow. This was mentioned in the 5th verse. To celebrate the successful completion of their vow, the Brajakumaris invited Vrishabhanu Nandini, who was the special object of their affection, along with other main gopis, and brought them all to the river to bathe. Their playing in the Jamuna was meant to serve as the Hava Bhrita Snan, the ceremonial bath taken immediately upon the completion of a Vedic sacrifice. This is a very important point. They invited Vrishabhanu Nandini, Srimati Radhika herself. Radhika did not participate in this month-long ceremony. She's already married. But she is the object of worship of everyone in Braj, topmost, and to get her blessings, also, they invited her. And actually, we know that nobody comes to Braj. Nobody participates or engages in any service in Braj except under the sanction and direction of Srimati Radhika, directly and through her expansions, her Sakis, her group leaders, her Ashtasakis, her expansions among all the different gopis and groups of gopis, as Yogamaya Purnamasi, Brinda Devi, special expansion also of Yogamaya, and everyone in Vrindavan is ultimately under her direction. And so in a mood of affection and honor, they invited her to come. And this is going to result in something very special. Bhagavangs tadabit pretya Krishna yogeshvareshvara Vayasyayar avritas tatra gatas tat karma siddhaye. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and master of all masters of mystic yoga, was aware of what the gopis were doing, and thus he went there surrounded by his young companions to award the gopis the perfection of their endeavor. Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur explains, Krishna is the master of all masters of mystic power. Thus, being omniscient, Krishna easily understood the desires of the gopis, and he would fulfill them. The gopis, like all young girls from respectable families, considered the embarrassment of appearing naked before a young boy to be worse than death. Right, and Krishna is still quite young here. I don't believe he's still in his 7th year, 7 years old. But transcendental and auspicious personalities always appear half a time, again, older than they actually are. So he would actually appear like 11 or 12. Right? As would they. Yet Sri Krishna made them come out of the Jamuna and bow down to him. Although the gopis' bodies were fully developed, and although Krishna met them in a splendid place and brought them fully under his control, because Krishna is completely transcendental, there was not a trace of material desire in his mind. As the ocean of transcendental bliss, Sri Krishna wanted to share his bliss with the gopis on the spiritual platform, completely free of mundane lust. This is the import of the word Yogeshvareshvara. According to Shastric references, the word Vayasyai, young companions, means mere toddlers, 2 or 3 years old. These young boys were completely naked and were unaware of the difference between male and female. When Krishna went out to herd the cows, they followed him because they were so attached to Krishna that they could not bear to be without him. The Krama Deepika says, Krishna was surrounded by babies who spoke in broken language, who wore tiger nails around their necks and tinkling bells around their waists, and who had fat thighs. The Vaishnava Toshini, quoting from Gautamiya Tantra, lists the names of the boys as Dam, Sudam, Vasudam, and Kinkini. They were the very personification of Krishna's heart. So this is also described in different ways, sometimes the age of the boys, but they are young and innocent. And I don't know if you can remember yourself, but I remember being of that age, 2 and 3, and playing in the summertime in little wading pools with all our little friends, because there were so many little friends in those days, little boys and little girls, many wearing diapers, and completely unaware of any difference at all between boy and girl. They were not even a consideration. So these boys were with Krishna. They were following his lead, but completely innocent, right? There's no question of the gopis worrying about them so much, right? But they're there to help Krishna somewhat in the pastime. And we're going to hear more about them in a bit. He also mentions that the young gopis were fully developed. Sometimes it said that they're quite young, and so you would assume that they're not developed, but also they're also auspicious personalities. And there's some who may not have been developed because they were even younger, like little maidservants coming along. But whether this is temporarily fully developed, just like when Krishna met the gopis when he was a very young boy, and in Bandirvat, when he was in the forest with his father, a great storm came up, and they took shelter under a tree, and out of the storm, a beautiful teenage Kishori came and took Krishna. Nanda Maharaj, in a kind of a trance, handed him over to her. She walked off, and when they got to another very large banyan tree, Krishna assumed his Kaishore age, and this girl was Srimati Radhika in her Kaishore age, and all of her associates came. And they were much younger at that time, but they assumed their fully eternal forms. And then Lord Brahma came and performed a play Gandharva marriage for Radha and Krishna. Right? So this fully developed, it may have been just for this pastime, can't say, because some say that they weren't developed, right? And there it's more innocent. But here, Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur says right now, they're fully developed. And this is important because this is, in that form, the relationship between Krishna and the gopis manifests itself in the most complete way. Up until then, their relationship is only developing. So, ta samvashanksi upadaya nipam aruya satvara hasid bi prahasan balai parihasam muvachaha. Taking the girl's garments, he quickly climbed to the top of a kadamba tree. Then, as he laughed loudly and his companions also laughed, he addressed the girls jokingly. Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur explains. Now he's going to give us some much expanded dialogue because it says he addressed them jokingly, so he says, the small boys laughed for no reason. Because Krishna's in a humorous mood, they become in a humorous mood. They're just following their leader, but they're completely unaware of the deeper implications here. So they're just laughing, right? By laughing loudly, Krishna called attention to himself and then joked with the Vrajakumaris. Krishna said, because now they're in the water, and they're going to go and get their clothes on the bank, but all of a sudden they hear this laughter and they look up. They see no clothes, and they see Krishna in the tree with the clothes. So Krishna says, "Oh, young girls of Braj, do you know who has put all these clothes on the branch of the Kadamba tree? While herding the cows, I saw them from far away and thought, today the Kadamba tree is very attractive with colorful flowers and fruits. To see this astonishing spectacle, I came running here and climbing the tree. And climbed the tree." The young girls replied, "They are our clothes." Krishna responds, "Wow, that cannot be. If these were yours, how did they get up on the branch high in the tree?" The gopis say, "You have stolen them and put them there." Krishna says, "Are you blaming me? I am the son of King Nanda. Am I a thief? If you doubt me, then just go to Mathura and complain to King Kamsa. Right? Why would I have to steal your clothes? I'm the son of the king. We have so much wealth. All right, but if you think that's true, then go complain to King Kamsa. But how can they go? They have no clothes, right? So he's taunting them. The gopis say, "Don't get angry. Just look closely at the clothing and see if they are women's or men's clothing." So there are many subtle moods being exchanged here, and we're going to be hearing here and in Gopal Champu about the different ways that the gopis are trying to persuade Krishna, by flattery, by coercion, by threats, sowing seeds of doubt, different techniques that are used in diplomacy. So they're saying, now don't get angry, just look closely at the clothing and see if they are women's or men's clothing. Krishna says, well, according to my understanding, they must be women's clothing because they are so colorful. But so what? You're not the only women in this universe. Could these not be the clothes of some other women? Gopis, that's not true. But who else besides us can come to this secluded forest? Krishna, oh girls who like to wander in lonely places, are you the only women that wander in lonely places and play privately? Gopis, oh fool, we did not come here to play. We came to worship Durga, the deity of this Kadamba tree. Krishna, well, are you the only young women worshiping Durga? Are there no others? Gopis, no, there are no others. Krishna, oh foolish ones. Every night the demigoddesses come here on celestial vehicles to worship Durga. Gopis, well, even if they did perform worship here, why would they leave their clothing here and go away? Krishna, oh young girls, you don't know anything. Tonight they will come again and perform worship. After bathing, they will don these clothes. That is why they left them here. Right? In other words, that wasn't their only clothes. They just left some for tomorrow in advance. Taunting them. Gopis, well, you don't know the truth. Today, we will perform worship. The deity of the forest has placed these clothes high up in the tree for us to wear after bathing. So now this back and forth, Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur is giving us some hints. Now, atra gatya balakamam swam samvasa pragatyatam satyam bravani no narma yadyuyam vratakarshita. Lord Krishna said, my dear girls, you may each come here as you wish and take back your garments. I am telling you the truth, and am not joking with you, since I see you are fatigued from executing austere vows. Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur elaborates. This verse illustrates how Krishna joked with the girls. Krishna said, if these clothes are really yours, then come here if you like and identify them. You can take them after paying me one small necklace each in order to satisfy me after you have insulted me. Each of you should come individually, not all at once, or 2 or 3 together, because out of greed for the cloth, one woman will take more than one cloth. And the gopis say, oh, no, we cannot go there. Krishna laughs and says, oh, girls, oh, weak ones, abala, uses the word abala. You have become weak due to your intense austerities, and therefore cannot come here. Another implication of the word abala is, if you don't do this, I will not give the clothing because I am strong, bala. What can you weak women do? Krishna's got all the cards here. The gopis, we don't trust your crafty words. Krishna, so even if we do come out, who knows what you'll do? You're up there, you have our clothes, we don't trust you. You've already shown yourself in so many ways to be a rake, a reprobate, right? Krishna says, I am telling you the truth. Or, there's a word in here, satyam. Or, Krishna said, I am making a vow to you. According to the Amarakosh dictionary, the word satyam can mean truth or vow. Krishna then says, I am not joking, no narma. I see that you are exhausted from the difficulties of your vows, vrata karshita. Because of your austerities, I am upholding the principles of religion by showing mercy and devotion to you. So we get a hint here how Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur is perceiving all of these, the much more dialogue than is maybe initially seen within the verse. But by unpacking these different words, and by his own realization, and by reading commentaries of previous Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, others, he's giving us much more and showing where this understanding is hidden in these words. And he says, Krishna then says, hey, because of your austerities, I am upholding the principles of religion by showing mercy and devotion to you, which is actually what should be understood. The deeper meaning here is he's not just doing some silly game. They prayed for him to be their husband, their beloved, whether pati or upapati. And only a husband is allowed to joke like this intimate kind of joking, and to see a girl in that state. And the highest principle of religion, right, is this parodharma, right? Second chapter, savai pungsang parodharmo, jato bhakti dahokaje ahaituki apratyata, the atma supersediti. This bhakti, unmotivated, right, uninterrupted, completely pure, right? You are expressing this bhakti to me, I am now reciprocating. This is the highest principle of religion. It goes way beyond mundane moral considerations. That's what we have to keep in mind. And I am showing mercy to you. I am fulfilling your wish. And I am showing devotion to you. And he is only requesting them to come out, not for satisfying some mundane, lusty desire, but so that they can express the highest form of surrender and devotion, and then that he can reciprocate. Because Krishna always says, I will reciprocate according to their level of devotion. So he's explaining that now. Namayo ditapurvam va anritam tad ime vidu ekai kasha pratichadvam sahaveti sumadhyama. Krishna says, I've never spoken a lie, and these boys know it. Therefore, O slender-waisted girls, please come forward, either one by one or all together, and pick out your clothes. Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur now says, the gopis replied to Krishna, because you are a liar, we don't believe your promise. So now Krishna's saying, what? I've never spoken a lie. Right? Krishna bit his tongue while saying, I have never told any lies. From birth till now, I have not had any occasion to lie. What is the proof? These young boys are the witnesses. They are reliable as witnesses because they naturally support whatever they see. Now, we understand this in two ways, right? Because whatever Krishna says is param satyam, right? It's the highest truth. There's no possibility of whatever Krishna is saying being untrue. So he's speaking right. I've never told a lie, if you analyze from the highest angle. But in Narvat Leela, he does lie. But those lies, what are they? We just went through this whole month of Damodar Leela explaining Krishna's beautiful pastime with Mother Yashoda. And she said, have you broken the pot? No, I never broke the pot. You stole butter? I've never stolen butter. Right? These are lies. These are lies. But on another level, they are just activities and descriptions which are meant to increase the prem of Vatsalya, the mood of motherly affection for Mother Yashoda, and Krishna's mood of being her son, undeterred, undisturbed by any sense of his godhead, of his godhood, right? So whatever Krishna does, it's always pure and spiritual, right? And whatever the gopis do is always pure and spiritual. So these boys will tell you, I've never lied. The gopis say, no, from far away, please throw the clothes to us in the water, or just have the young boys bring them here. Krishna says, I am unable to discern one woman's clothes from another. How then can I throw them to you? Being a very religious person, I do not touch the possession of others, even with my fingernail. Therefore, you must come here, identify your own clothes, and take them. It is my firm rule not to touch, take, or give the things of others. Right? And yet he has. But it's all his. And the gopis are his. See, this is why we have to have this higher vision. There's no immorality here. These are his own eternal beloveds, his own Shakti. How can there be any transgression of morality? All of this identification is to stage a beautiful drama for unparalleled exchange of love. And the gopis say, because you are so impudent, you can embarrass us. Okay, you have that ability. Due to this fear and the fact that we are respectable women, we will not come near you. Krishna says, well, one of the young girls among you can come forward. If she is not embarrassed and returns to you, then others can come one by one. Or all can come together. If you come as a group, it would be impossible to embarrass you. The head is the topmost part of the body, and it is very beautiful. So please show me your heads. If you could show your heads, then you should not be embarrassed to show me your other beautiful limbs, including your beautiful slender waists. So he's sort of saying, hey, you're already in the water. I see your heads. Why hide the rest? The head is the most beautiful part of you anyway. Your sweet smiles, your lotus eyes, everything about you. So, why do you fear showing anything else? Tasya tat shrevlitam drishtva gopya prema paritpluta vridita prekshachanyonyam jataha sa naniryayo. Seeing how Krishna was joking with them, the gopis became fully immersed in love for him. And as they glanced at each other, they began to laugh and joke among themselves, even in their embarrassment. But still they did not come out of the water. So this joking is increasing their joy, their prem, and their laughing among themselves about this crazy situation that they're in. Oh, there's Krishna. Now what is he doing? So Visvanath Cakravarti Thakur says, the gopis talk among themselves, to make Krishna happy, I think we should not be so self-conscious. So remember, they're only thinking of Krishna, but see, there's the obstacle here. Why? The obstacle of shyness, which is an ornament. It's one of the topmost ornaments of a woman, shyness, chastity. But Krishna's going to have them overcome all of that to give him pleasure. Even though that ornament is generally there to create moods that are greatly pleasing to Krishna, right? In this case, he wants them to abandon even that, which will be the topmost kind of surrender. And they're saying, well, maybe we should do this. I think we should not be so self-conscious. So thinking like this, the gopis began to joyfully talk among themselves. Glancing at one another, they became embarrassed. Right? Because actually, if you read the chapter of Venu Gita, even amongst themselves, even though they know they all have love for Krishna, they're embarrassed to talk about it openly. And so oftentimes they'll speak very indirectly, right? Which is actually an ornament of speech, which makes it even more beautiful. But even among themselves, they have shyness, right? So here they are, they're in the water, they're in this situation that they can't seem to get out of. They say, oh, yeah, maybe have to do it. They know this is what Krishna wants. They know they only want to please Krishna. That's their only motive. They're selfless, but still amongst themselves, now they're shy. So the gopis began to joyfully talk among themselves. Glancing at one another, they became embarrassed. The gopis were from most respectable families. And they might have argued with Krishna, why don't you simply leave our clothes on the bank of the river and go away? Krishna says, but there are so many of you that some of the girls might take clothes belonging to another. Right? Oh, I'm just looking out for your welfare, he says. But they respond, we are honest and never steal anything. We never touch another's property. Krishna says, well, if that's true, then simply come and get your clothes. What is the difficulty? When the gopis saw Krishna's determination, they were filled with loving ecstasy. Although embarrassed, they were overjoyed to receive such attention from Krishna. He was joking with them as if they were his wives or girlfriends. And the gopis' only desire was to achieve such a relationship with him. Remember, they're in the state of purva rag. They've not really consummated their relationship. They're very young. The Govardhan Leela just happened, right? And they got to see him very close up for a long time, but they weren't able to fulfill yet their desire to have Rasa Leela with him. None of that's taken place. So at that time, they were embarrassed to be seen. Let me back up. He was joking with them as if they were his wives or girlfriends, and the gopis' only desire was to achieve such a relationship with him. At the same time, they were embarrassed to be seen naked by him, but still they could not help laughing at his joking words and even began to joke among themselves. One gopi said to another, "O lotus-eyed one, Krishna is calling you. You should go." The second gopi answered, "Oh, beautiful-faced one, you go first, and let us see if Krishna plays any tricks on you. Then we will go later." In this way they joked among themselves, but remained in the water without moving. So this is very happy play now. They want to go out, but still they're constrained by shyness, embarrassment amongst themselves, so they're teasing each other. "Oh, you should go first." "Oh, no, not me, you should go first." So we will stop here, because the next verse, as Sri Govinda spoke to the gopis in this way, his joking words completely captivated their minds. Submerged up to their necks in the cold water, they began to shiver. Thus they addressed him as follows. So it's going to become more intense. And the love is going to increase. The prem in this lila is going to be churned to a higher and higher degree. So we will stop here, offering obeisance to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, our Guru Parampara, and all the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Haribol.